Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins, more breaking news. Miami. What happened over the past few days? People are shooken up, but we've got new updates, interviews, testimony coming in from the people, including a son who interviewed his father, a police officer, with regards to him stating that he needed to keep his mouth shut about what happened.
Have you been seeing the alien stuff? Did you see that at Bayside?
What?
Are you serious? You're joking. You're joking. Did they tell you not to talk about it? I mean, because you were slicing the pie. I'm not allowed to know about it. What? I know what you're talking about, but I'm not allowed to know about it.
What?
Can you at least say, like, whatever? So they're saying it's like a fight broke out. Why did they send so many police cars? Are you serious? You can't say anything? You're no help.
It's good that the public's coming forward with this, and even the police are talking about it. If we could confirm that man is an actual policeman, that'll be interesting. What could we hope for, John?
Well, what I'm hoping is that this is a plea for people out there. We need people who were there, and whether or not they filmed something, just were there to talk about what they happened. Obviously, we have a lot of people who've already posted on TikTok and social media, and some on YouTube. I don't know why they're posting more on TikTok as opposed to YouTube, but that's not the real question. We need people who are working in the stores to talk about how their security cameras were not working, or how they were also confiscated. And also, people in Miami who were not there, but are willing to go there and start asking the store employees if they're willing to talk about what happened. I think we need to ask everybody out there just to come forward if you have any new information about this story. Because unlike the Nevada case, the Las Vegas landing in the backyard where, you had that family see those two beings hiding behind a tractor back in April or May of this year, of 2023. There are so many people involved in this case. I don't think it's going to go away so easily. And look, well, here we are, Sunday night. We still don't have body cam footage. Not the ones we requested, nor did they release anything to shut the story down.
Well, more evidence coming in. We've got more testimony from the public. Listen to this.
Exactly what happened. Don't pay attention to a lot of the videos that are out there. I feel like a lot of people are trying to use this for clout. But what happened, we all saw what happened, and it's pretty serious. It's been a few days, but our whole family's processing it. But I think we've kind of accepted that we were a part of this weird experience and moment. So basically what happened was I was there with my brother Brian, and my sister and my nephew. We were looking for shoes for my nephew, and then we see a whole crowd of people outside the store just running out in a direction. So as soon as we saw it, we were like, oh shit, what's going on? So we immediately ran out with our nephew, and we picked him up and we ran out and we followed the crowd, and then about a few seconds later, as soon as we started running, my nephew, he's autistic, so he was pointing behind us and he was saying blanky, which he'll usually say whenever he feels unsafe or scared. And he was pointing behind us. So me and my brother, we look behind us, and then we see these 3 9-10 foot tall creatures. I'm not going to say aliens. Everyone keeps saying it's aliens. I'm not saying aliens because I don't know what it was. None of us really knew everyone. All of us stopped in our track. We, a whole bunch of people were pointing at it. There were other people running. There was a crowd. As soon as it made itself more apparent, it looked like it was glitching, not like a computer pixelation, but like a wavy glitch. And whatever maybe was covering them had, unveiled or whatever. It looked like a glitch, man. It like a weird glitch in the Matrix or whatever. And then you could see it in its full form, all 3 of them. And then, they were all black. You saw eyes, and you could faintly see like like lips, but yeah, I was about like 20 feet away, because obviously everybody gave it distance, right? And you know, they're tall, so we all just like looked at them. They were just standing there, and the thing that was a little bit weird, well, it was clearly like observing us. It was sentient, right? Like, or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but it was aware of us. It looked at us, the whole crowd, and then as soon as it started walking with its big legs, like kind of like it started like almost glitching again, we all ran. My brother like immediately said, "Yo, let's go." He grabbed me by the shoulder. We bolted out of there. And for anyone that's like saying, you know, where's the footage? Yeah, I know. I don't have any footage, and I'll explain why. Because like when I saw it, I was in complete fear. It was something that I completely froze, man. I don't care if I sound like a bitch about it. Like, I froze. And I don't care who you are. I feel like when you're seeing something paranormal, it's different than when you're seeing a fight. Yeah, you'll probably want to record that and put it on World Star or whatever. When you see something paranormal, that's different. Because your reality, you can't comprehend what you're seeing. A fight, you kind of get it. Two people are fighting. You can comprehend that. Something like this, none of us could comprehend. Your first instinct is like, it ain't to like take out your phone and start recording. Your first instinct is like, I've never seen this before. What is this? Is it gonna hurt me or my family? That was my first number one priority. So if you don't believe me, I get it. You know, it's fine. Like, it is silly. I'm sure that someone had footage from that night. If you did, please contact me just so like, you know, we actually have it. So anyways, as soon as the creature started moving, we all just jetted out there. We ran out the front doors. And you know, obviously, like, we see a whole sea of cop cars, mad cop cars, where other ones were coming in. And we ran with our nephew, and then, you know, a cop stopped us. You know, they took us to a bit of a safer area behind the cars. And then, and they asked us what we saw. And we told them what we saw. You know, they wrote it down, and they asked everybody to check their phones. Not everybody, because there was mad people like running away too, right? They couldn't get everyone. So I'm wondering if someone's gonna post a video. But yeah, they looked through everyone's phone. I didn't record anything, so I was fine. None of us recorded anything, so we were basically free to go. But in the distance, you could still see, like, you know, I didn't see the beings come out the door, right? But you could see on the side of the building, kind of like that clip that everyone's seeing, that it was slowly walking, and it was like, it wasn't cloaking or glitching or whatever. It was walking. So I don't know if it seemed more like it was an interdimensional thing. Someone's coming into our dimension or whatever, a bunch of them. And I think, you know, that it was just interesting, the police response, because it was a whole bunch of them. This ain't for no teenagers. No, this was for something way bigger. And it almost seemed like the cops had like a already made strategy for it, because they surrounded one of the beings with like all their police cars. They blared it up even louder, because you could hear that it was louder. Maybe as an attempt to like distract it or let it know like, hey, you don't belong here, right? And you know, they were trying to like slowly move alongside with it. But I didn't see anything else after that, because me and my family, we got out of there. We went into our car, we went home. Because, you know, we had our nephew with us, and we went to make sure, like, you know, he was okay. So I'm still kind of like processing everything. Like, it's weird, but at the same time, I'm glad that we weren't alone in seeing it, because like, it was a whole bunch of us that saw it. And it feels kind of like, you know, you're part of something like really big. But at the same time, it's confusing, because like you want to kind of like show people. Like, I wish I took a video, man, like, because people are gonna probably think I'm crazy, right? But yeah, I'm left with more questions. Like, we were all kind of left with more questions than anything else. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's aliens. I know everybody's saying it's aliens. I'm not saying that.
We're literally almost a week from when it happened. It's now Sunday night / Monday morning, and this happened Monday night, of last week, New Year's Day. So you're right. They could have squashed this story with their little cover-up of these 4 teenagers being arrested for fireworks, or what they originally said, sticks in their hands along with fireworks. But nothing's changed. If anything, people are still talking about what they saw. And then this video that you guys have from either a drone or a helicopter several hundred feet in the air, where you zoomed in, where they say it's 3 cops in tandem, but really it's clearly something that's double the size of any other human in those shots before you zoomed in.
Well, we'd like to see the clear footage, but right now we're not being supplied the clear footage from the police. So
yeah, we've been talking about this from the very beginning. We're going on 3 days now. Why isn't the police dropping the footage? They could all scrub this right now and break the news like, hey, there it is. And we, like I said earlier this week, I think it was Friday, that it'd be so easy for them to just drop it and debunk the whole thing. Why hasn't the information and the footage been released?
They could have debunked this when it was just a tiny story and no one was covering it when I first came upon this on January 2nd of last week, or just 5 days ago. But you're right, they haven't. And all they've let is people literally blow the story up. This story has gone worldwide now. I mean, there's no hiding it anymore. I expect us to start hitting mainstream media. It's already being picked up by News Nation, for instance, legacy media. So again, you made a good point. They could have squashed it with clear footage right away. Or maybe they don't want to release the clear footage because there is no clear footage, because their cameras weren't working either, which would work against them and would work towards what the people said about seeing the ETs. And when they tried to film them, their cameras weren't working. But what's also scary is that the people that did film, maybe they were further away from the ETs. Maybe that's why their cameras were working. I say ET loosely. I don't know if these are aliens, time travelers, interdimensionals, but let's just say there's something not human based on what everyone said, especially how technology wasn't working. Like air traffic controllers were saying there were issues, and like the cameras that weren't working. But the people that were, say, 50 or 100 feet away that were filmed, we want some of those people to come forward and talk about when the cops stopped them and detained them and wouldn't let them leave without showing their photographs on their phones and deleting them or confiscating them. I'm just hoping by us talking about this again, more people will come out and provide us more firsthand knowledge than we already have of the dozen or so people that have spoken about.
I'm posting this and I want y'all to repost, save this video, post it on other platforms before it gets taken down, because I want to clear up some of this misinformation about the Bayside Mall incident that happened. So me and my girl was in town and we were shopping at the mall, and we noticed a lot of kids there. It wasn't a real big deal at first until they got to arguing and shoving, and then like weapons got brought in, and they started fighting, running all over the mall, chaos just all over the place. So we thought we heard gunshots, but it turns out that was actually fireworks. But either way, that caused everybody to start rushing for the doors. People was leaving stuff behind. I mean, just dragging their kids. It was just complete fucking chaos, man. Anyway, so as we running, we look back and we noticed some weird shapes taller than me. I'm 6'2", shadowy, dark, solid shapes, not human. I promise you, these is not human. I mean, it made the hair stand up on my skin. And shit, we just booked it for the doors after that, man. I can't explain what that was. I can't say that was aliens, but I can say that was not human. It was not human. And they, online, I don't know if they're trying to cover this stuff up, but they saying that it was police officers and somebody, not shadowy figures. It's 2024, man. It's something going on. There's something going on, and they're trying to cover it up. a lot of people saw what I saw, and like I say, it was so much chaos ensued that it was just hard to let that sink in, that we was realizing what we looking at. I mean, it's something you can never even create in your head in a dream. I'm putting this out there though, man, because I want people to know that this stuff is real. Get this out and spread this. And if you were a person that was there and you saw what I saw, please put this video out, because they trying to cover this stuff up, man. They don't want us to tell the truth. And I got a good feeling this video will be taken down. So don't listen to the media. This shit is real. And whatever it is, they do not want people to know about it. I can't even, man.
No, and I'll do the same where I recorded it, the phone call with the police, public affairs department and Miami PD. I have a feeling they're just going to give me the same runaround and say, we've already spoken about this. Here's our official statement. Maybe the officer will repeat the official statement. Maybe they might make another one, but they'll probably just stick to what they've already said, which is really telling us nothing. You know, their official story is that teenagers with fireworks and we arrested 4. Well, that doesn't really match with what the footage is showing us.
What about the people that are talking, that are coming on camera, that they said they were on the ground? Some of these interviews that we've actually shared on our channel, are these people legit, or are they telling the real story?
Those people are definitely saw something. You know, obviously I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of people want some infamy that weren't there, just start repeating secondhand knowledge and taking it as their own. So I'm sure we're going to have, you know, a few people that weren't there that are making stuff up just to muddy the waters. But some of those people that have already spoken, you could see the fear in their eyes, or as they're speaking, their emotions of how truthful they're making it seem like this really happened. No cap, no cap. That's something that I keep hearing people in their teens and 20s keep saying about this incident. No cap, I saw what I saw. No cap, these were not humans. No cap, I tried to film. You know, so we want more of that. And like you said, we've already got at least a dozen that tried to film or were detained, and several dozen more that talked about what they saw.
Hey, Dr. J. I just wanted to bring in, the comment I made last night, and if you have any more thoughts on the possibility of it being a Project Bluebeam type experiment. Was this maybe something else going on that wasn't quite alien? Was there something, some sort of experiment going on with new technology? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I totally agree. That could be a very plausible explanation. This could be nothing more than holographic technology making it appear as we're being invaded by something not from this earth. What better way, in the midst of us basically approaching World War III, the world is falling apart. You have 2 wars broken out, one in Europe and one in the Middle East. You have a possible 3rd war breaking out with China and Taiwan. What better way than to try to get people together through redirecting their fear from what's happening on this planet to some interstellar sort of war, and then hoarding us together and taking away more of our rights. So I think we have to keep that possibility open as much as that something not human was there. So it's one of the two. The more I've dug into this, I do not buy for a second that it was just teenagers. Obviously, with air traffic control, with President Trump's response, with the entire Miami police there, and you also have those black helicopters that everybody on the ground said was flying above them, which we all know black unmarked helicopters belong to the government. So if you see one, you just know it belongs to a faction of the government. So yes, we have to keep that possibility open. I don't know if we'll ever know the truth, if it was a hologram or it was non-human ETs, but it's definitely one of those two.
Yeah, I think it was definitely very interesting when Trump came out and made his statement to basically that everyone needs to look at this and what happened, that something definitely happened. I mean, that was really interesting. And it, also what you were saying earlier made me wonder, how should the public react if it seems like maybe some sort of new technology such as Project Bluebeam was being practiced on us. If, something like that happened, how would we know the difference, and how do you think the public should react to a situation and kind of figure out what is actually going on, get to the truth of it?
That's the scary part, Apollo. We would never know the difference. And that's what scares me so much when we have this crazy technology that's locked up in these classified special access projects, especially the unknown special access project, the USAPs. We would never know the difference, whether they were playing with our minds or our eyes or both, which clearly it wasn't something that was a mind technology, because some people's cameras, remember, the people that were the closest said the cameras didn't work. The people that were the furthest said that who captured something said that it was confiscated. So it wasn't sort of a mind trick with some sort of technology. If it is technology, I'm leaning towards more what you said about holographic technology. We would never know the difference.
Big stories here. Dr. J, I'm going to ask you another question. Again, we're looking at a phenomenon. Could it be mass hysteria? Could it be the real deal? There's a lot of information that hasn't hit. We still don't have the police body cam footage. So there's a lot on the table with regards to the story. But again, we just hit 2024, and there's a lot of things happening. It didn't take long. It's another huge event in the Disclosure Project. And we're looking at forward information that's going to happen in real time. Again, are we looking at something? Are we just getting to the beginning of disclosure?
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you remember a couple years ago, it's actually more like 3 years ago, you had that former head of the Israeli Space Force who basically said that humans, or Americans with Israelis, humans, are on Mars at an ET base working side by side with aliens. And the reason why it's not publicly known is because the aliens themselves are the reason this is secret. They say we're not ready for it, or not to tell the public. What if by the government, you guys have covered, through the Disclosure series you made on Amazon Prime, the most downloaded documentaries of all time, the last 3 you made, Countdown to Disclosure and all those, Endgame. The point being is the wheels of the government are not really cranking any disclosure out. This may be the aliens saying enough with the secret. Let's make ourselves known. And maybe that's why you have these landing or showing up in a mass area as opposed to some small family in the middle of the desert.
Well, it's a lot to say. I'm not sure if that's all happening with what we're doing at the moment with third phase, but hey, who knows what's going on this planet. Apollo?
Yeah, I just want to comment that I think it's pretty obvious that disclosure is being ramped up. In the media, it seems like there's a lot of events that are happening, and I really foresee in the next year some major events happening like this one. We saw the Vegas event that happened while we were all at the Disclosure press conference in DC last July, and I'm wondering if Dr. J, if you have any idea if there's maybe a connection between this. I know both these events mention these 8-foot tall gray aliens, and that ended up all over the media, just kind of similar to this event. And I'm wondering if you think maybe there's a connection between these events, and maybe just is this something the media wants to promote to hype up things, or is there something happening with these 8-foot tall gray aliens that are coming here? I know also Peru, this happened in Peru as well, so it seems there's something with these 8-foot tall gray aliens that is.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because prior to that Nevada landing, and I'm going to take that word landing back, because at first you hear it was a landing, and the family in Vegas back in May 2023, we had the police officer or police car camera caught something in the sky, which could be a meteor, but some say was a craft crashing or landing. So that case, depending on who you talk to, some people say it was a crash at Lake Mead, and that's why those beings were there. Other people say it was just a landing. But now you have 8 to 10 foot tall. 8 is the minimum height, by the way. 10 foot, 8 to 10 is what people have been saying with regards to all three, the Miami, the Peru, and Nevada. So what if these beings who I've never heard of gray aliens being that tall before? Usually you hear about the 3.5, 4 foot tall worker beings, and then the 5.5 foot real gray aliens. So this 8 to 10 foot phenomena of the grays is fairly new to me, and it may be.
And I just want to say, like, that's why I'm asking you this, because to me it seems that this usually the gray alien abduction type kind of stories, that they're always around these gray aliens that are about 3 to 4 feet tall, but all of a sudden everyone's talking about these 8 foot tall gray alien like beings. So I don't understand.
Other species?
Well, from my understanding, from a lot of abduction cases, it seems like people will say that the gray aliens are normally talked about, they're almost like an android type being, like they're not really quite organic. They're like organic mixed with like robotic.
Well, you're right about that, but I hear two kinds of grays in abduction stories. You have all the 3.5, 4 foot tall, basically artificial intelligence, organic robots, glorified robots. But then people talk about the real aliens that are in charge, the ones that apparently show a little empathy and compassion when telepathically communicating with people. And people usually report those as a foot to a 1.5 taller than the worker grays, the androids, right? So yes, I've heard of both the 3.5, 4 foot tall androids, and also one on the ships being in charge, which is 5 to 5.5 feet. But never have I heard 8 to 10 foot tall gray aliens. The first time I heard this was about 9 months ago in Nevada. So now you have 3 major cases that we know of. And the only reason these are major is because these ETs almost wanted it to be known. They could have, if they had the ability to walk through walls, take people at night, make technology not work, well then why did they allow the technology to work in Nevada when the people went in the backyard to investigate, literally carrying guns in fear of their lives, and captured these 2 beings in their backyard? Or Peru, or even here.
Let me just grab a little bit of that too at the same time. These are, again, unsubstantiated reports with the Vegas to the Peru encounters with flying aliens. Who knows what was going on? This is, again, we're always trying to follow the truth, and there's no smoking gun on all of this. We're just speculating here.
That's right. That's all we're doing is at this point speculating with regards to where these 8 to 10 foot tall beings before. But I stand by the fact that I've never heard of 8 to 10 foot tall grays until about 9 months ago. This is the 3rd case that I've ever heard about them, and all 3 cases just happen to be a massive public case.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the point I made earlier, I really feel that there seems to be some sort of correlation between these events and this all of a sudden being hyped up. And why is it that the media is reporting on this particular story with these 8 foot tall grays as opposed to other abduction cases and all these numerous events that are going on all year that Third Phase of Moon is, sharing at least once a week, all these other events. But for some reason, it really seems that there's something with these 8 foot tall grays that keeps coming out in the media and making these major events.
Maybe because these 8 to 10 foot beings are actually doing something that's major public. They're not just kidnapping 2 people in the middle of the night and taking them on a ship while everyone's asleep and returning them quietly. These beings were allegedly walking through an outdoor mall, with hundreds of people, if not at least 1,000 or more than that people. So, and again, the same thing in Nevada. Yes, it was just one family, but you had other people supposedly at Lake Mead where they were picking up metal fragments in other parts of the supposed crash there. Or the same thing with Peru. So, again, these are the only reason they're in the media is because there's so many eyewitnesses.
Well, is it big propaganda? Is it mass hysteria? We don't know. We're going to find out. And again, the investigative reporting that we're going to be doing over the next few days, I think it's going to say a lot. And maybe we could figure this whole thing out. But We're going to let everybody know right here at Third Phase of Moon in the next hours or so, right after this episode. Dr. J's going to be talking to the police. We're going to be making phone calls on our end to try and figure out what exactly happened, obtain maybe police cam footage. Exciting times. Again, it seems like there's a suppression going on. It should already be out, so stay tuned for that.
One more plea. Let's make one more plea to all the people watching Third Phase of Moon right now. If you live in Miami and we're there, please contact Third Phase of Moon. If you live in Miami but weren't there, but are willing to go to that Bayside Park Mall and pick up some more information for us, also please contact Third Phase of Moon. And most importantly, if you happen to be one of those people that were detained by the police and forced to delete your footage or forced to hand it over, also come forward. Or if you worked in one of those stores where the security footage was also confiscated, please come forward. Everybody who was there, we need your information.
That's a big call forward right there. That's what it's going to take to really get down to the bottom of what happened in Miami, because it would only take one video, and our email is in the description at every video at Third Phase of Moon. So good call. Thanks, Dr. J. You've been rocking this investigation. Let's keep it up. Monday's going to be a big day because that's when everybody's in operation. We could contact the police. It sounds like they're going to be available. So a lot of new information just coming up. We may be able to break this story.
It's definitely within our sight and our reachability to do so. And the fact that, like we mentioned last night, that the cops have the, and even today, that the cops have the ability to shut the story down if it was nothing by releasing the body cam footage, yet they haven't. We can break this story because it looks like they don't have any cards to play at this point, meaning the police.
Absolutely. Dr. J, be safe out there. You know, it's a big mission that we have to do, and it's going to be quite exciting. Subscribe to Third Phase of Moon for more updates. Appreciate you, everybody from around the world. We'll see you next time.